Hello, everyone. This is my tribute speech. Let me start by saying that this woman is one of the most amazing people I have known. She was the epitome of what our journey on earth should look like. She was loving, she was kind, she was giving, and in turn, she drew these same things to her. She was the eldest of five children, and very early on, she took on the responsibility as a caregiver for her siblings. So it was natural for her to take on caring for others. She grew up in Philadelphia, moved to New York, settled in California, and eventually returned to Philadelphia for the duration of her life. Throughout her journey, she left a mark wherever she went. During her time in New York, she worked as a registrar in the ER in Harlem Hospital. She had a rapport with people like no other. There are countless stories of those she helped at the hospital and their gratitude towards her. During her time in New York, she met her second husband and they transitioned to live in California. Shortly thereafter, she had a daughter. She obtained a job as a house mother working on the campus of UCLA. At the house, she managed and served 50 female residents. She was known for taking leftovers and recreating them in a signature way that left the residents pleased. When they entered the house, they would stop by the kitchen just to see what new and exciting dish she had prepared. Her time at the house expanded her culinary skills, which later served as her area of expertise in future company. Also in California, she established her faith in the Jehovah's Witness organization. Within this organization, she was called upon to participate in the annual hosting of the International Missionaries. In many instances, she was looked at as a spiritual mother. In the late 80s, she returned to Philadelphia to care for her ailing mother. After several years, her mother passed and moved on to caring for her younger members of her family. As they transitioned into Head Start, she became a classroom volunteer. Her work there gained her recognition by a family member who owned a daycare facility. She was then offered a job as an infant classroom teacher. Her work with the infants there remained etched in the hearts and memories of the children and their families. She was most recognized as the mama of the child care center. Her influence spread across generations. Her care and concern for the children expanded beyond the walls of the daycare. Through this venture, she was able to further her education and obtained an associate's degree in early childhood education. A few years after obtaining her degree, she became ill and retired. After a successful battle with breast cancer, she had picked up knitting and cooking for others as a means to keep busy. Family and friends would stop by whenever in the neighborhood to partake in a meal or offer a laugh. Her home was never empty and she never incurred a dull moment. She loved entertaining and her hospitality was effortless. At the start of the summer of 2013, an ambulance was called to her home to transfer her to the local medical facility. 3 days later, it was reported that she was stricken with lymphoma, cancer of the blood. She denied the blood transfusion as her faith did not permit. Without it, there was no way to sustain her life. As she gracefully prepared for her transition, people came from near and far to see her and celebrate her 71st birthday. 11 days after her birthday, she made her final transition. Her life was a fine example of the human experience. The love, the lessons, the motivation, and the inspiration shared by this one person left such an impression on so many. She was not famous, but when it was time to say goodbye, there was an overwhelming amount of condolences and stories that painted a different image. I had the pleasure of calling this amazing woman Mom. And although she was not a celebrity, she was definitely my shining star.